hello everybody. Welcome back to the Couch Trip. It has been a minute since I made a video. Oh, 1 second, I grab my drink. Cheers. So if you followed this channel at all, I don't think I've made a video since, maybe March last year. As you can see, it's Christmas time now. It's December 11th of 2022. As you can see by all the Christmas trappings. Where to begin? I mean, we've all been going through stuff for the last couple of years, have we not? But, oh my gosh, I had a stupendous crash on April 30th, the first day of the season last year, first day of my season. I had so many track events and races lined up with CCS, and 7th session at National Corvette Motorsports Park was having some really good runs, dropping into the 158s just on a chill day, not even pushing. And I lost focus on turn 5 and just came up way too fast on a couple of my buddies. Started going around on the outside thinking I could make it. They came all the way out and I just decided I didn't want to hit them. I had about a 50-meter run off to try and get it stopped. It's a triple-digit corner. It was break. And then last thing I remember is, yeah, I'm not going to make this. You'll see some of the pictures here of the aftermath in a second, but I went into a corner of 2 guardrails, straight head on. And so the Panigale is pretty banged up. I was banged up even worse. I remember coming to for a slight second when I felt cold metal hitting my leg, and as they were cutting through my Dainese Mugello R, thinking to myself, no, this is $4,000. And then I was back out again. So next thing I remember is I'm in the hospital and I've got a really funky looking arm and I am really feeling weird. So I was hopped up on morphine pretty good. Long story short, 11 broken bones. So to recount them, I broke my arm in probably 3 or 4 places: carpal, radius, ulna. I now have a plate and 14 pins and screws. Still physical therapy on this guy here, and here we are in December. Dislocated both shoulders simultaneously. Broke 2 ribs. Broke my L1 through L5 vertebrae and ripped the muscles off the transverse processes, which I didn't know what those were, but those are the little spines that stick off on either side and then straight out the back. So as you can see, my lower back muscles all collapsed. You can see the bruising on my L1 through L5, and then on the left side where I hit the left guardrail. There's all this weird pimpling, and I'm not really sure what's that's from. But, obviously tons of trauma and contusions underneath the skin here. So that was cool. Chipped and broke my something tuberosity. So what are we up to there? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? Plus the 2 dislocations, and the wrist was dislocated. So I remember being in the emergency room doc, and the emergency room doc said, look, we can do this a couple of ways. He goes, your one shoulder popped back in, your left, your right has been out for a while now. It's still out. So we were going on 40 minutes, so no blood flow, no nutrients, no oxygen happening there. And this was dislocated on top of all the breaks. So he said, look, we can do the shoulder just by maneuvering it and working it. If you're okay with that, I keep you conscious. I think that's pretty much a non-event. Your wrist, on the other hand, I think is going to hurt a lot. And I can do a little bit of anesthesia, a lot of anesthesia, but he's like, I've got you so high on morphine right now, I literally, legally, really can't give you more morphine. So I said, well, just demonstrate what you're gonna do on my arm. So he kind of slowly just started working my arm perpendicular to my body. And within probably, I said, well, just keep going. And so he just kept doing it, and then bam, it popped right back into place, excruciatingly, but it wasn't too bad. He said, the wrist isn't gonna be so easy. So I said, well, why don't you do a mixture? Kind of put me just a little bit under, but don't keep me under long. So that was the theory. So I guess I was really apologetic, very nice to all the nurses and all the ambulance personnel. I don't remember any of it. and I was being, you were just so nice. You were apologizing and thanking and yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And when we put you under to do your wrist, you sort of came out of it as it was beginning to actually get serious, and he's working on it and pulling it. And the next, I don't remember any of it. Next thing I know, I'm on the gurney and I'm going down the hallway, and the nurse is just laughing hysterically, and I'm coming to. I'm like, what happened? Are we done? You know what? She goes, well, yes, you're done. We're gonna have to do some operation tomorrow. But she's like, you were just so nice and so apologetic and so polite. And when we were pulling on your wrist to relocate it, you were like, no, 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 no. And then bam, when he pulls it out, you're like, oh, fuck you guys. So, yeah. So I mean, I kind of said, oh, it's not really me. That's not really me. So anyway, they were super cool. The staff at Bowling Green Medical Center was awesome. Unfortunately, the surgery didn't take. 2 weeks later, I got a follow-up. One carpal did not stay on one of the pins. So I had to have a revision surgery again. So that was pretty bad. I basically spent the next 4 months in bed. I was walking the very next day, believe it or not. They were shocked. There's a large TLSO device that was like a big, great big brace, and I'll put the picture up here, that I was in initially. And then I just couldn't, I mean, it was too much hassle to put on and off. And with dislocated shoulders and all this multi-trauma, I didn't have any way to do that on my own every day. So I just left it off. But I basically spent 10 to 12 hours a day in bed during the daytime. I'd get up to use a restroom, move a little bit, get some blood flow. But that was a good solid 3.5, 4 months. You'll see the bike here. I just got the bike back from Ducati, and they said that Commonwealth Motover in Louisville, and they said, look, you're going to have to, he said, I want to be absolutely certain, you know, it's a frameless bike, the Panigale, so your engine is a major stress member, and we want to make sure that nothing's bent. I don't want to put you on it without absolutely making sure. So there's a guy called Kent Soignier down in Georgia, CompuTrack, GMD CompuTrack. So the fire-breathing dragon has met a guardrail. Going wide, turn 5. Isn't it just?
Do you want me to stay next to this?
Yeah, you'd look way better.
Wow.
What we determined, and Chad at Commonwealth had already figured out though that the axle was broken, front axle was broken, which made one of the tubes go higher than the other on the suspension. Left rotor was completely damaged and warped, dented my back, my rear rim. Myriads of little bits and pieces of controls, you know, were broken, but not so bad. I mean, every piece of fairing and the windshield, of course. But the engine had no major damage. So, wow, didn't have to fork over 10 grand to trying a Panigale R engine. So that was fantastic. I'm still in physical therapy. Right now, my 5 lumbar, I have numbness topically. Like if you just walk up and touch me, I'd never know it. If you touch me anywhere on my waistband or on my lumbar, I can't lift over 20 to 25 pounds. So, you know, it may be, they're saying at least a year until my back is healed. So that would put me April. Right now, I'm just started about 2 weeks ago, lightly pedaling on the stationary bike that I just bought. My goal is to be back on a bike by April for sure. But very, very slow on the PT. Go there 2 to 3 times a week, working on it. Got that plate. I just keep saying my resale value goes up every day because now I have 2 full hip replacements of 12 inches of titanium and this 4.5 inch piece of titanium in my arm. So I figure I'm worth more dead than alive at this point. And it's only going to continue if I keep replacing parts. I really should actually start marketing this stuff. Yeah, so that'll bring you up to date. I know I'm missing something. I'll probably put something else in here with some editing, but I'll have some pictures in here about the bike, some video, and then try and get back to the rebuild and see how that goes. Sorry for the lack of any content recently. We're going to try and pump that back up. Thanks for coming to the channel and check it out. And Merry Christmas to everybody. And hope everybody has a great Christmas and a great New Year. And see you on the track hopefully next season.